So hi, I'm back with the second edition of differences between American and British English. Right. So I'll just leaf through certain pairs of words. Uh, First the British and next American. So I'm just leafing through them, stopping in between to explain certain things wherever such an explanation is necessary. All right. So yeah, very rapidly. Uh, First of the two is definitely British, and the second one American. So we say about turn in British English. In American English, it is about face, rather than turn. Accelerator, a term which we often use for motor vehicles, the device which increases the speed. In American English is gas pedal. So I've already told you that gas means gasoline or petrol. So the uh, pedal with which you increase the speed is called a gas pedal. In British English, it's called accelerator. Okay, and here is another one. Advocate, a lawyer, generally used for a public person, and in British English, advocate. In American English, public defender. Aerial and antenna. I think now everybody uses the word antenna. Okay, and we don't even have antenna today. We get our TV channels through cable. We don't have antennas except for those people who use certain networks like Sun TV. You have a device like an umbrella, dish on top of your terrace. So aerial was once upon a time used extensively in India. We used to say the aerial of the radio. Okay, either the built-in aerial or the one which you tie on top of the terrace uh, by means of a cord. So in America it is definitely antenna. In Britain it's aerial. The term aerodrome nobody uses today. We just say airport. Or in America it is airfield. Okay, and air hostess in our English. We are following British English, and in American English it is stewardess. 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 Okay. The most important or interesting difference is this. In Britain, many people call football American football. Okay. What is that? Well, American football is uh, the game which is played uh, very roughly. It's actually called rugger. It's called rugby in Britain. In America, it's called football. Whereas our football, what we play with the legs, is soccer. SOCCR. Of course, these things have changed. Now I think everybody calls it football, even in America. So you must be cautious in looking at these pairs given in this book. I'm referring to Modiano's book. Okay. Here is a very interesting pair. Angry or furious. In American English, the term mad is used. I'm getting mad at you. Actually, this is supposed to be a British term. It was supposed to be a British term once upon a time. And in Britain, it has changed. You just say angry. In American English, you can say mad. I'm mad. Okay. Angry. Yeah, I leave through. I've only begun with A. Let us look at other letters. Right. Badge. Yeah, a very common object in British English. We have badges which we wear. In America, interestingly, it's called button. UTTON. Okay. Shall we go to C for a couple of words? C. Yeah. Uh, Caretaker. Yes, yes. Caretaker of a house. In America, that person is called janitor. Janito. Especially people who look after buildings. Okay. You know, as people whom we sometimes call a watchman. Okay. Or even security now in India. In America, it's called the person is called a janitor, Janitor. Okay, if you read detective novels, you'll find this out. A detective visits a building. He asks the janitor where this accused person lives, right? And the janitor tells him. Okay, cashier, common term which we commonly use. In America, the person is called a teller, T-E-L-L-E-R. We use this term today in ATMs, automatic teller machine. Okay, so that teller, ATM, T is uh, for cashier. It's a person or a machine which gives you cash. Okay. Uh, Chat show, talk show, that you know. I think both are used in India. That's what I said. In Indian English, there is a mix up of both British and American English, you know. But here's another interesting difference. Chemist. Who is a chemist, by the way? Is it somebody who learns chemistry or somebody who works in a chemical lab? No. In Britain, chemist is still used to refer to a pharmacist, one who sells medicines. Still, it's used in Britain. In America, it is pharmacist. And we have taken it from America. That's what I said. Our English is getting mixed. We use the term pharmacist rather than chemist. Okay. Then, yeah, what else? You have cinema. We use it not only for the actual text, a film. We even use it for the cinema where a film is played. But it is becoming less in India. We don't say I went to the cinema. You say I went to a cinema theater. In America, it is movie theater. So what we have done is we have mixed up both terms. We say cinema theater. Uh, shall we move on to D and find out some interesting words? Yeah, even in C, here is another interesting pair. Cooker. Cooker. In America, they don't say cooker, the vessel in which we cook. They call it, what do they call it? In British English, it's not the vessel that's meant, it seems. It is actually the uh, flame or the stove that is used for cooking, whatever. So the word stove which we use is American. In British English, it seems it's called a cooker. What else? Shall we move on to D? We'll find out what words are different. Okay, diary, Diary. Okay, we refer to the book which we use. Okay, which contains dates, telephone numbers, other interesting pieces of information. In American English, they don't use it at all. They simply say calendar, not the one that you hang up on the wall, but also the book which you use to refer to information, including dates. What else? Drawing room. Yes, yes, you use it commonly in India. Okay. Uh, it's actually not a bedroom. It is something like a lounge where people can gather and talk. In American English, it's simply called a living room. Okay. Then there are lots of words. I'm just referring to a few. Dustbin, okay, or rubbish bin. It's also called rubbish bin. Something, a bin into which we deposit all the unwanted things. In American English, it is either trash can, TRASHCAN, or garbage can, GARBAGE. Let's see, what else? Uh, Exhaust pipe, yes, we have it. We know what it is. A pipe through which unwanted air or unwanted smoke goes out. In America, it is simply called a tailpipe, TAILPIP. Okay, you will find all these words. I'm just referring to them for to understand the background of these words. And the word fag, FAG, is interestingly British. It means a cigarette. It's slang actually. Okay. And the only problem here is in American English, it is an offensive word. It means a homosexual. So be careful. Here, people, you don't smoke anyway. Smoking is not very popular here. In my days, it was popular. So if you say fag, it definitely meant a cigarette. Fancy dress party. Yeah, you know what a fancy. People come dressed up as various celebrities, historical people, etc. You come dressed up as Gandhi on Gandhi Jayanti. So in America, it's called a costume party, right? Not a fancy dress party. Then, yeah, when you calculate the floors of a building, in British English, first floor means the floor immediately above the ground floor, right? In British English, that is called a ground floor. So our English department lies, most of it lies on the second floor, right? On your seminar hall is on the ground floor for the British. For Americans, the ground floor is called the first floor. So for Americans, our English department lies on the third floor. For the British, it lies on the second floor, right? What else? Flat and apartment. Okay, we also mix up these two terms, right? Flat is used for the building where people live. Okay, in American English, it's always apartment. Flat is not used as a noun in that sense. Flat is more often a tire which has gone flat, a busted tire. So the Americans will say, "Oh God, I bought a flat." Okay, it doesn't mean that he has bought a flat. So it means that the tire, one or more tires of his vehicle has burst. Okay. Then what else you have? Yeah. Fortnight. Yes, it's no longer used in India. Very few people use it. Fortnight means 2 weeks. There is a Malayalam word, which is a rather Sanskrit word, Paksham, referring to normally the waxing and waning stages of the moon. The waxing stage you call Shukla Paksham. The waning period you call Karutta Paksham, Krishna Paksham, okay, in Malayalam. But the word fortnight is not used much today. In America, it's not used at all. They simply call it 2 weeks. What else? Frontier and border. We use both today, actually. So frontier was originally British and border was American. Right. Full stop and period. Period is rather formal for us today. We simply say full stop. Actually, period was American. What else? Goods train for us and for the British. Freight train for the Americans. F-R-E-I-G-H-T. Okay. What else? For in H, headmaster, headmistress. We have already changed it. We have begun to follow the American method. You don't have headmasters or headmistresses in schools. You have principals. We have already made the change. We have switched over to the American practice. Especially for +2, you don't have headmasters or headmistresses. Instead, you have principals. Right. Then holiday vacations, holidays in British English, in American English vacations. I think we use both. That's what I said. We are getting mixed up. We are using both American and British forms. Here is an important pair. Home office. We call it often the home department. What is home department, by the way? Home department is the department that looks after law and order. It's virtually the police department. Abhyantharam എന്ന് മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും. So it's taken from this home. Right. In America, it's not the home department, but the department of the interior. Okay. Interior, not home office, but department of the interior. Exactly, the meaning is the same. നമ്മുടെ ആഭ്യന്തരം തന്നെയാണത് in American English. Okay, we'll move on. Few other words and I'll wind up. Jug, commonly used term for a jug of water. A container which carries a certain quantity of a liquid. In American English, it's called a pitcher. Excuse me for a second. My lamp is running out of power. I'll switch it off. Okay, I'm back. Right. Yeah. We are moving on to L, and you have let. Okay. To let, you see this board everywhere. Vadagakku, to let. In American English, it is to rent. Okay. So there is a difference also. Okay. You rent a place if you are the person who's living in it. You let it out if you are the owner. This is the difference. Okay. So in American English, you rent the place. You give it to somebody for living. Okay. The opposite of it is hire, H-I-R-E in America. In Britain, let is used for giving a building for somebody to live, and rent is for taking a place for living. From the വാടകയ്ക്ക് കൊടുക്കുക, വാടകയ്ക്ക് എടുക്കുക. കൊടുക്കുക is let in British English. Then letterbox, mailbox, that you already know. In British English, the term is postman, postwoman. In American English, it is male man, male woman. Okay, right. Moving on to other letters. Mad, I've already told you what it means. Angry and mad. Okay. And for the word which designates somebody who's out of his senses, the American term is crazy. Yeah, we also use crazy. Okay, he's crazy. Okay, the Americans, the British generally say mad. Managing director, we have also stopped using it. It's actually a British term. We call such person CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CEO, or President. We used to have managing director. Managing director was the most powerful person once upon a time. We are switching over to the American variety. CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Okay. Marks, grades, that you already know. Okay, giving a grade and giving marks. Now in India also, these two terms have specialized uses. Marks come in numbers, grades come in letters. Okay. In America, generally, when you say grade, it does not indicate that it is either a number or a letter, but generally the measure of a student's performance. Right. Milk teeth. Have you heard of milk teeth? Milk teeth is the teeth that children have. Children under the age of 12 or so. In America, it's called baby tooth. Okay. You won't be misunderstood probably if you say milk tooth in America. But this is the way they say it. Escalator. You know what an escalator is? Yeah, you see it in malls all the time. Now, in Britain, this is simply called a moving staircase. The mudguard of vehicles, if it's whether it is a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. In America, it's called a fender, Fenter. Okay, the kind of flap that you have which prevents mud from splashing onto the bodies of your vehicles. What we call a mud guard, guarding from mud. In America, it's called a fender, Fender. Nappy, yes, and diaper. We use both terms. We say nappy, we also say diaper. Diaper is American. Okay. Note and bill. I think the difference is still there. For currency, we say a 10 rupee note. The Americans would say a $5 bill. So bill doesn't mean a document for a purchase in America. It doesn't mean that alone. Okay. It also means a currency note. So a $5 bill or a $10 bill. Okay. Number plate of vehicles, American license plate. Nursery school, preschool, we use both terms today, as I said. So we are getting terribly mixed up. We used to have a British legacy, but now we are moving on to an American legacy. Pants, okay. In British English, what we wear, men wear outside is called trousers. Trousers, not half trousers. We have in India we have specialized it. If you say trousers, it only means half trousers. In Britain, trousers means a full thing, from waist to feet. In America, it's called pants. Okay. In Britain, pants means your underwear. In America, it's called underpants or panties for women. Okay. Parcel in Britain, package in America. Pavement in Britain, sidewalk in America. You don't say sidewalk here in India. You always say pavement or even footpath. You call it a footpath here. In America, it's called sidewalk. Okay, a place for walking on the side of the road. Right, correctly, precisely. Okay, what else? Petrol, gas. I've already told you. Gas is short for gasoline. Okay, and what else? Plaster. Yeah, yeah. We used to say for a long time. What we put on when we have a small wound. Kaiki plastered, not the other one. You have a full-fledged covering of your foot or hand if you have broken a bone. Now we use plaster for that. Okay, okay. In America, this is plaster. What we have taken it over from America. In America also, plaster means the white covering which if you have a broken bone or broken bones. In America, what we put on our hand if we have a small wound is called a band-aid, B-A-N-D-A-I-D. We also use band-aid nowadays. Okay. Uh, Pram, we don't use it at all in India. Pram is a small carriage for taking babies. For if it's a small baby when you're going shopping, you have this pram. You push it with the baby inside. Okay. In America, it's called a baby carriage. Okay. Pudding, a common thing nowadays. If you go to any wedding, you get pudding. In America, it is still called dessert. D-E-S-S-E-R-T. Dessert. Dessert, it's pronounced. Okay. Then there are certain difficult words which you haven't ever come across. Q-U-A-Y. It is pronounced key in British English. It is a place where goods are unloaded from boats or ships. Quay, Q-U-A-Y. In America, it's called wharf, W-H-A-R-F. I think both are used in India today. Right. Q, Q-U-E-U-E, difficult spelling. To stand in a queue. In America, it is called stand in a line. You stand in a line in America. Okay. They don't say queue. Queue is used in Britain. I think we also have started using line. Okay. Then names of designations. For example, I am an associate professor. That's because our university has taken over the name from America. In Britain, a person in my position would still be called a reader. So they have lecturer, reader, professor. We have assistant professor, associate professor, and professor. Three designations in universities, right? So this is a properly American kind of designation. We have taken it over. Okay. What else? We have um, remainder in mathematics. You know, remainder. 5 plus divide 5 by 3. You get 1 and remainder 2. In American English, it is balance. The term is also used for in the general meaning. What remains? A return ticket and round trip ticket, I have already told you. You will be misunderstood in America if you ask for a trip, return ticket at an airline's office. Okay, you will definitely be misunderstood because it's a British expression. So they won't simply understand you, not misunderstand you, but they won't understand you. In America, it's called a round trip ticket or round ticket simply. Ring and call. In Britain, you ring up somebody. Okay. In America, you call them. I think both we use both terms now. What else? Rubber. I don't think we use the term rubber these days. Perhaps school children use it. In American English, it is eraser. We have started using the American expression eraser, eraser, because it's easy to remember. An eraser erases or rubs off something. In Britain, it's still called rubber. Um, what else? Scent. I used to say, I think many people used to say, SCEENT for perfume. Okay. ഞാൻ സെന്റ് വാങ്ങി കടയിൽ പോയിട്ട്. I thought that people had bad English. But it seems that in Britain this is the commonly used term, scent. Okay, now it becomes clear to me. In America it is perfume. Okay. Biscuit cookie. Interesting. In America it's biscuit. In Britain it is either scone, SCONE, or cookies. Biscuit, it appears as an American term, right? So we have been using it for a long time, but we don't use cookies. We don't say cookies. Uh, Settee and couch. Settee, I think we still use in the sense of a sofa. In American English, it is couch. COUCH. Okay. We also use the term couch, but with a more specialized meaning. It's something you just lie back on. Okay. Shop and store, both are used in India. You see this word store used. Okay. Somebody's store. Prakash's store. Okay. Shop is less used. No, shop is British. This is interesting. If you can't see properly, okay, if you need to keep objects very close to your eyes to read them, you are called short-sighted. In America, you will be called near-sighted. Same thing, short and near-sighted. In America, it's called near-sighted. You will be called a near-sighted person. Yeah, we talked about return ticket and round ticket. For a single ticket, you can go only one way. So in Britain, it's called a single ticket. In America, it's called a one-way ticket. That's a well-known song. One-way ticket, one-way ticket, a one-way ticket to the moon. A 70s song. I don't think you've heard it. One-way ticket. That is by an American band which played this song. So in America it's called a one-way ticket. In Britain it's a single ticket. Okay. This is a business term. Who is a sleeping partner? Not somebody who sleeps with you, but somebody who doesn't do anything in business. Somebody who has simply invested money. In Britain, such a person is called a sleeping. We also use the term in India. In America, it's called such a person is called a silent partner. Social security. All our welfare measures, pension, okay, pension for the elderly, pension for agricultural workers. In Britain, this is called social security. Okay. In America, it's called welfare. Okay. So, if you in America, there is also a term, an expression like if you say, "I am on welfare," meaning you don't have a job, you're surviving on government aid. It can be pension, it can be medical benefits, anything. So be careful when you say, "I am on welfare." Doesn't mean that you are well or you are in a very safe or peaceful position. It simply means you are surviving on government aid. When you say, "I am on welfare." Okay. And this is an old-fashioned thing. You call a lawyer solicitor or barrister in Britain. Okay, it differs. Barrister is supposed to be a senior lawyer. In America, you don't have any such terms. You simply call a person a lawyer, right? This is interesting. What is it? What do you use to tighten or loosen a nut? In India, also it's called a spanner. Spanner. In Britain, also it's called a spanner. Americans have an interesting word, monkey wrench, or simply wrench. WRENCH. Okay. So you use a wrench in America to loosen or tighten a nut. In Britain, you use a spanner, right? Stock exchange in Britain, stock market in America. I think we have started using stock market, borrowing the term from America. What else? Let's move on to T. We are in S. Uh, Takeaway. No, we've used the term now. After Corona struck us, we have started using this term very often. Takeaway. Okay. Takeaway from a restaurant. Okay. In America, it's called take out. TAKEOU. One word. Takeaway, take out. In Britain also, it's one way. We are using takeaway. Okay. You get takeaways. You can't eat there because you are scared of contracting corona. Uh, Telecast, it's no longer used. I don't think it's very popular even uh, here. In America, it is anyway called air. To air something, we also use the term air. To telecast, to send into the air so that other people can catch it on their TVs. Timber. What is timber? Timber is processed wood. What you buy to make windows or doors. In America, it's called lumber. LUMBER. An important difference. In America, you will be misunderstood if you say timber. They think you are talking about sound, music. TIMBR. Okay. In America, for wood, the finished timber that you buy from wood yards is called lumber. മരം വാങ്ങുന്നത് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ മരമല്ലല്ലോ വാങ്ങുന്നത് അല്ലേ? മരം ചെത്തി വൃത്തിയാക്കി അതിൻ്റെ തോലൊക്കെ കളഞ്ഞതാണ് നമ്മൾ മരപ്പിടി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ്സ് കോൾഡ് ടിമ്പർ ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യ, lumber in America. Okay. Even the word timetable is not available in America. They call it a schedule. Okay. And a tin, common tin, a tin of milk or milk powder, milk maid that you buy from supermarkets. Okay. In America, a tin is called a can, CAN. Okay. There's a verb also, can, CAN. To can something. To can something means to stop talking nonsense. Can it, you say, in America. So can is actually this, what we call tin in Britain and in India. And the Australians have a joke. Okay. They say, we eat all we can, about some food item, beef or something in Australia. And they say, we eat all we can, and what we can't, we can. Meaning they enclose it and seal it in a can or tin. So this is an interesting joke. We eat all we can, and what we can't, we can. Right. TORCH is popular in India. It is British term. The American term is flashlight. We have started using the American term flashlight. Trolley. commonly used term in India. In supermarkets also you have a trolley. In America it's called a shopping cart. You will see this in Amazon site, Amazon cart. Okay, meaning you place and you keep an order pending. You take it and you want to buy a book. You type it in the cart. Okay, exactly as you take it in a shopping cart. You haven't billed it. You have to take it to the counter to get a bill. So cart is commonly used. Underdone. What is that? Underdone means undercooked. നന്നായി വേവിക്കാത്തത്, കുറച്ച് മാത്രം വേവിക്കുന്നത്. Underdone beef എന്നൊക്കെ പറയും. അത് some people prefer that. Underdone vegetables. നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഉപ്പേരി നന്നായിട്ട് വേവിക്കാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത്ര വേവിക്കാതെയും കഴിക്കാം. ഉള്ളി കണ്ടില്ലേ ചിലപ്പോൾ we don't cook it fully. Sometimes we sprinkle it on some dish. Okay, we don't even do it. But half done, കുറച്ച് മാത്രം വഴറ്റിയ ഉള്ളിക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ underdone. In America, interestingly, they don't call it underdone. They call it rare, R-E-R-A-R-E. Rare also means other things like കിട്ടാനില്ലാത്തത്, ദുർലഭം. In America, rare also means something which is undercooked. Then undertaker. Who is an undertaker? An undertaker is a person who takes care of your bodies, but after you die. In America, such a person is called a mortician. M-O-R-T-I-C-I-A-N. Veranda. We use it in Malayalam also. It's a Hindi term. In American English, it is simply porch. We have made a difference. For us, a porch is a place where we park our vehicles, car or bike, whatever. Okay. The Americans have a word called vest. We don't use it commonly in India. It is exactly what we call a banyan, okay, worn by men, which you wear inside under your shirt. In America, it is precisely called undershirt. A banyan in America is called an. If you say banyan in America, nobody will understand it. Okay, you will have to say undershirt, and in Britain you will have to say vest, V-E-S-T, vest. Don't pronounce it as west, which is the direction. West and west. We have a viva voce. So you have to take a viva voce after your fourth sem, after you have submit your project. In America, it is simply called oral examination. In America, our wash basin, which is also British, is called a sink. We have specialized. A sink is the wash basin that you have in the kitchen. We don't call the wash basin in your dining room a sink. But in America, a wash basin can be called a sink. It can also be called a wash bowl. And this is not what concerns most of you. Whiskey and soda. These terms are used together in Britain. Like our vettiladakka. In Britain, it's called whiskey and soda. They pronounce it together, whiskey and soda. Whiskey and soda. In America, this is called a highball. Okay. When you're having a highball, you mean you are drinking whiskey with soda. Okay. There are other interesting things. If for a car, you have a windscreen in Britain. In America, it's called a windshield. Not much different, but we use shield instead of screen. What else? YACHT you use for a small boat which has sails. Okay, പായ്ക്കപ്പൽ എന്ന് പറയും ചെറുത്, which people use for pleasure trips. It's called a yacht, Y-A-C-H-T. It's pronounced yacht. In America, it's simply called a sailboat. Okay, and in America, in Britain, you have what is called zebra crossing. In India, also we call it zebra crossing. What is it? It's a crossing on the road. When there is heavy traffic, the pedestrians, people who walk, are allowed to cross the road on at certain designated times. The road is lined with white lines. Okay. In America, this is simply called a cross walk. Right. And how do you pronounce the last word in the alphabet? In Britain, it is pronounced Z. In America, it is pronounced Z. Okay? Z. Z and Z. There's a difference. You will probably not notice the pronunciation. Okay. Right. So I've given you a roundup of the differences in vocabulary. I'll break off shortly and get back to you with more details about the differences between American and British